Grixis Dragons. If you haven't been to my website before, you definitely should. This deck is one of the many Pioneer decks you can find up there now. So Grixis, for those newer to Magic, refers to the 3-color combination of blue, black, and red. And then our dragons here are various creatures in the deck. So we've got Glorybringer, Dragonlord Silumgar, and then Nicol, Bolas, Ravager here at the top end. And then these dragons help enable this card, Silumgar Scorn, which is an additional cost to cast this spell. You may reveal a dragon from your hand. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 1. If you reveal a dragon card from your hand, instead just counter that spell. So this is actual factual counter spell when you have a dragon available to you. Something that's kind of cheeky to note too is we've got a couple copies of Mutavault in the mana base. So Mutavault here allows us to, it can activate itself and then cast Scorn. So with Mutavault, Scorn can turn into cancel, which is a neat hat trick. So let's go ahead and pop on into this league. This one felt pretty okay last time we played it, but it's been a hot second. Let's see if it feels reasonable the second time through. Is that Glorybringer art Moto only? I think so, but I'm also not super familiar. They've slowly brought a lot of the Moto arts to paper for a lot of these cards. I'm not sure if that's one of them, though. Hey, Beaks, thanks for the 17 months. Twitch sub anniversaries are so messed up. I subbed at 16 months last week, and now it says share my 17. Yeah, it's real awkward. What do you think of replacing the Borrowers and Scourge for Bone Crusher Giants and Thunderbreak Regions? I think Thunderbreak Region is not a good Magic card. I think potentially cutting Scorn and playing more tap out is fine, but I think if I were to do that, I would want to play more good cards, not mediocre cards. I think Bone Crusher Giant qualifies as a good card, but I don't think Thunderbreak Region is really a super constructed playable card in this format. I think I'm actually just going to take the Knight here. This lets them Thoughtseize me next turn, but that's fine. I also think Borrower is very reasonable. People undervalue that card. Generates you very, very decent tempo, and it's another threat that pressures people in the air. I also think if your goal is to like play something aggressively slanted, this deck is not that. So I'd probably just recommend playing something else if you want to be more aggressive. This is more of a mid-range to borderline control deck even. The good news is this one does get included in my autobiography when we miss our land drop here. We are in fact playing 26 lands. Sick. Look at that. Get in there, creature land. So they have Caves of Koilos, Grasp of Darkness, Champion of Dusk, and then one card I don't know. Nothing but Net Chat. Never didn't have it. Missed the stream title. Thanks for the heads up. Did I get the stream decker? I think so. That's super unfortunate. To finish off Sorin with Wild Slash at least. Okay, Banger enables Scorn. And if they tap off of this next turn, we can draw a land and bang the Dusk. So it's a Game Day promo. Currently $11. Noted. Gonna keep them out of my hand here. Shill for me, Poppy. Thanks for the tier 3 beetle. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Nikki B is actually not a bad draw here. Because if they grasp him, their hand is then empty. And then, like, we just need to draw an untapped land to bang the Champion of Dusk and be pretty far ahead. We have the creature land in play as well at the moment. So, I expect them to, like, grasp this and then discard their other card. Blood Variant Baron of Vizkopa. Yep. God, that's brutal. Thoughtseize is such a miserable card, chat. It's such a miserable card. Kiona, thank you for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Alright, one good top deck deserves another, right? Alright, slightly ahead. Not a lot ahead, but a little bit ahead. No cards in hand for them. What you got? Yeah, that's a pretty good one. They know I have Glorybringer in my hand, Industrious Revolution, so I think I agree with my opponent's line of play. This card's pretty bad in the face of Glorybringer. Pioneer submissions are back down to $25 for subs, Mike the Mailman. I'm gonna take a chance to see if they fill at $25. If we get a dozen or more at 25, I'm gonna leave it at 25. If we don't get many at 25, I'll drop it back down to 10, but for the time being, I'm gonna wait and see if I can fill at 25. This is match 1, game 1? I think this is match 1, game 1. Sounds right. Would Pioneer build-arounds fly for tier 3 subs? Negative, Draken. So, tier 3s can submit build-arounds for arena formats as well as regular Pioneer decks. Yep. That's an interesting card to have in their deck. Go ahead and send this back to their hands here. That's unfortunate. Considering we're at 2. This is one of the many decks that you can find up on my website, Zombie. As for like a changelog style thing, I work on a lot of different decks and I don't keep changelogs for them. God, that's brutal. So if you are always interested in what changed from list to list, you can always find previous lists that I've played in the video description of the decks on my YouTube channel. Hey, Solaris, thanks for the 15 months. Welcome back. Okay. Alright, if they don't draw a removal spell, this is potentially very good. They have Kalitas and then 2 cards I don't know at the moment. So we're hoping to draw a Wild Slash here. So I can pair that with Anger to kill Kalitas. Chandra. Huh? No matter how I cut this turn, I'm dead to a removal spell, right? Yes, when decks get updated mid-video, the list on YouTube is the one, always my latest iteration from that set thump. Hey, Rainer, thanks for the 17 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I mean, does 2 blockers to 1 card matter? I think I'm supposed to just kill the Kalitas here because this is damage-based removal. Because, like, if they can kill one of my creatures, they're gonna kill this and get the other one back, so I'm dead anyways. So I think I'm just supposed to guaranteed kill the Kalitas while the killing is good. I'm dead to Grey Merchant at any point as well here if they have that. So we were dead to this no matter which line we take. I don't know that we're dead. I think dead to a lot is a huge overstatement. I think we're dead to their 4 copies of this, and that's it, right? Is there? What other card in their deck kills me other than this here? Grey Merchant, potentially? Like, at most, they have 8 cards. I think dead to a lot is an inaccurate assessment of that situation. Sorin. Okay, Sorin, so like, a quarter of their deck, maybe? Is Anger here even good? I'm not really sure that it is. It's probably worth leaving 2 copies in. I don't think any of the rest of these cards up here look particularly good. The fact that 2 of my anti-aggro cards are Noxious Grasp is a little awkward here. I don't have a ton of ways to kill Kalitas in my extra cards, but I guess I do have, like, Banger, Chandra, Rider, Dreadbore, so, like, I'm starting with a good number of ways to kill it. I think Borrower out makes sense here. Maybe Scorn's the card that I'm supposed to trim. I'd rather have Borrower than Scorn. Maybe that's it. Their deck's a little bit aggressive. We could have angered and played Borrower. Borrower can't block creatures without flying, top toe. So we're still dead to the removal spell with that line. Hand's okay. Still has removal spells after we get Thoughtseize. GA Magic. Abrade here to start. Maybe I'm supposed to Wild Slash that because they have Gifted Aetherborn. That's a 2/3. That Wild Slash wouldn't kill. Scorn's a great pickup here. Looking good. I think I'm just using my mana this turn. Hey, TZT. You did it indeed. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. Alright. Slow and steady. Heart of Garan, bullet Rainer is the answer. You have a sword, Reyes, so other mods can't slay you. It's a feature, not a bug. Yeah, if you have a mod sword, only I can slay you. Yep. Leaving these up bluffs a bluffs the Scorn. But I'm probably just supposed to leave the red up so I could hold up Wild Slash. We're indestructible, but Jeff exiles you if you don't behave. Accurate. Alright, grasp me firmly. A swift end. Yeah, Abrading versus Wild Slashing on 2 was probably wrong. They have a number of X3s. I'm gonna go ahead and pass here, because they might try and soar and target the Blood Baron, and then I can double hidden response. I don't actually have a metric for that, Reyes. So I was going to try and trade Mutavault plus Wild Slash here, but now we'll just trade double Wild Slash. Love to draw Haste Creature. Kill the Sorin. Another Wild Slash also okay. Yep. Force Spike, not particularly useful here. Hopefully they like go land 5-drop and we get to Force Spike them with the Scorn. That's probably the game. Scorn, less good at that stage of the game. The black aggro deck's super reasonable. Killing Smuggler's Copter was a good choice for this format. All the decks that Copter was in are like still just like very reasonable decks. Sure. Two of our 3 tap lands in the opener is a little awkward, but it's hard to pass up perfect mana. I'm gonna bottom that. You know, I'll just give myself the best chance to hit all my land drops here. I'm gonna play the Canal. It's a good bottom. I think my opponent just F6 their turn. Awkward. Just moto things. There is no Pioneer update today, by the way, for folks that are following this format. The next update would be January 6th, so next week is also an off week. I actually just don't care about this, right? Like, it cantrips, but then I kill it thanks to Mutavault. Sure, it, like, gains them a little bit of life. That's, like, not really a big deal. I think Thunderbreak Regent's pretty bad. I think all Thunderbreak Regent lets you do is be aggressive, and this deck's not interested in just being aggressive. I think if there's a build of dragons where Thunderbreak Regent is good, it probably involves Draconic Roars and less interaction than this deck is playing. We played a big red variation at one point that had Thunderbreak Regent. I think it's probably fine there. Let's get a real banger down here. Yeah, I kind of agree with that too. If Thunderbreak Regent's something you want to do, you probably want to be playing a bunch of it. Yeah, definitely no desire to overcommit into a potential sweeper. I'm gonna just take the dig through time here. Gives them the most flexibility with the other things they could potentially hold up. I think I actually just leave their Teferi here. I get a little bit punished if they draw exactly Supreme Verdict next turn, leaving the Teferi, but this allows me to maximize my damage, and next turn I can ship the Mutavault into the Time Raveler and kill it. So this is punishing if they draw Supreme Verdict, because then they can Verdict and kill my Banger and my Mutavault, but it maximizes my damage output, which is definitely, I think, the axis we're racing on currently. Not famous. Thank you for the third of a year. If I had to pick a favorite format, definitely Pioneer. Deep card pulls are great. Cast Out's a really expensive tool to slow our clock down. You can play a fourth Nicol Bolas turn. You can play Bone Crusher Giant. You can play another Dreadbore. I didn't say anything about. I mentioned mono black aggro a second ago. We lost to a black splash white aggro deck in the first match of this league, and I think that archetype's very good, even in a post-copter world. I think there's not a compelling reason to play mono black control in any format. Dear opponent, please don't Supreme Verdict me. I have one card we don't know. Azurius Charm. Sure. So I think at this point, I just force them to burn their Absorb. And I can't Scorn this because I'm currently playing Hearthstone. See if they drew an untapped land for the turn. Hero of Dominaria, they did. Sometimes when you resubscribe, you have to refresh your Twitch if you're using the browser to send the notification through. So I'm going to go ahead and attack their Teferi and attack their Narset here. Chandra into activate an option. Why would I want to do that rather than kill their Planeswalker? I think I definitely want to take their Planeswalkers off the table. Especially with the Silumgar Scorn currently locked out in my hand. Little Teferi also prevents Chandra's uptick from casting spells, which is relevant to note. Azorius Charm's a good one to know about. Cast Counterspell, show you banger. You think I don't want Scorn in my deck against the control deck? I think that's very silly. I think Scorn is very reasonable in matchups like this. This is a 2-mana counterspell in most situations. Yeah, creature lands are great, chat. Full stop, creature lands are great. Mutavault also great. You think Teferi makes it bad? I completely disagree with you. I think in most board states where Teferi's allowed to stick on the table, I'm losing anyways. And I have plenty of ways to take it off the table. This is exactly the style of matchup where you want counterspells in your deck. The only reason their 3-mana Teferi lived as long as it lived in this game was because I made a conscious decision to pressure their life total rather than take their Planeswalker off the table. Do I have anything that draws extra cards in my deck? Do I care about this Narset? I don't actually have anything that draws extra cards in my deck, right? I get punished if they have, when they draw the land card that they have. But that's about it, right? Flipped Nick. Yeah, it's fine. Agree. Big agree. Could play Commit to Memory. Sure. I have Brazen Borrower to tell them to pick their thing up at that point, though. So they have Azorius Charm. They're definitely going to play that into not getting dead. Why not plus for mana to cast Why do I need to plus for mana to cast my card that I already have mana to cast? Can you explain that to me? I have 7 lands, so why do I need to plus for mana to cast Glorybringer rather than using my Planeswalker to pressure their life total? Instead of me telling you your play is wrong, tell me why it's right. I think I'm just like casting Glorybringer and activating Mutavault and attacking for 6 here. They'll charm something and it'll be okay. The upside to making mana here is I can hold up Brazen Borrower, but like, what does holding up Brazen Borrower do rather than getting in for 2 points of damage? Getting in for 2 points of damage seems very good here. If you disagree, please explain why. Okay, we're gonna get punished for leaving the Narset in play. They're gonna get to draw 7 cards. It's a little brutal. Actually, I guess if they do that, depending on what they draw, we could kill them, right? They're not dead here. We're probably dead. Yeah, I probably should have played around the commit to memory. They're gonna untap and have a thing for this Chandra. Yeah. Yeah, I messed up. Was too aggressive here. Should have just taken the Narset out. They have a D-Sphere cast out or a Teferi. Yeah, they get Teferi bounce their cast out my Chandra. I guess that leaves them dead to the Wild Slash if they don't have something else, though. Well, they're bouncing nothing. Okay, that's good. Tire spinning. Could mean they're dead to this Chandra ultimate. Magic sucks. Playing against decks like this sucks. It's just not fun. Definitely could have been less aggressive and killed this. It's just like this is the part of the game where like you have to decide. The part that's frustrating about the opponent's decks is I know I made a mistake this game, but I have to decide now what's more valuable. What is it more valuable to give myself every percentage point to win, or is it more valuable to just like not waste my time spinning my tires here? And now that they drew Field of Ruin, I'm just gonna go ahead and concede. I think I would have been in a much better spot if they were +2 life and this Narset was gone and they wouldn't have been able to commit to memory me and like get back in the game without giving me cards, but you know, if I'm playing to win, like if this is a tournament setting, like I'm gonna keep playing that game and just feel bad while I play. Because it's just like, well, if I want to give myself the best possible chance to like win whatever tournament I'm playing, I have to like slog out that game. Thanks for the 16 months, Kraken. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I think Planeswalkers are great. I think people that complain about Planeswalkers as a card type are old men yelling at clouds. Old men, women, and others yelling at clouds that just like hate change and they need to like bugger off and play a different game at that point. The problem isn't Planeswalkers as a card type. The problem is the specific types of Planeswalker cards that have been printed in recent memory. That's the actual issue. Planeswalkers as a card type are incredibly good and incredibly interactive. Planeswalkers are a better card type than enchantments and artifacts. Because Planeswalkers you can kill inside of combat. Planeswalkers aren't just this random card type that I just can't interact with because of the colors that I've chosen to play. I can always interact with a Planeswalker regardless of what cards I'm playing regardless of what colors I'm playing in my deck. Planeswalkers are the most interactive card type in Magic, and it's not close. I think people write off bad designs as disliking Planeswalkers in general, when in general, Planeswalkers are a very good card type to have in Magic. Yeah, Wild Slash can deal damage to Planeswalkers, Jay Riot. That is correct. Yeah, Domri, Tibalt, Pirate Jace, Kiora. There's been a lot of good 3-mana Planeswalkers. They're like playable and not overbearing that have been printed in recent years. Did the sub survey. I love how you make the subs feel important. Good job. Thanks for taking the time to fill that out, Emmanuel Tapper. Planeswalkers lead to dynamic gameplay where both players tend to have decisions to make. I'm going to take their opt, and then if they want to tap out for 3 mana tap free next turn, we just get to counterspell it, and then untap and play 4 mana Bolas. So we'll see them cycle Charm here, so they can try and hit their land drops. Planeswalkers are snowballing. I don't even think that's bad design. I think there's this really bad concept among a lot of players that cards that end the game are bad, and those people are stupid. There's no tiptoeing about it. Magic games need to end. You know what happens when players aren't obligated to play cards that end the game? The archetype my opponent's playing is what happens, and it sucks. Decks like what the opponent's playing are rancid. Decks that actually require you to end the game are great. Do I jam Ravager? I think so. The problem here is I don't have another dragon, so this isn't a counterspell while this is on the stack. So if they have an absorb here, I just get absorbed. But I also don't really want them to be able to just like Castle of Interest this turn. So I think it's correct to jam here. I agree with that, Brizu. I think if they want the opponent's archetype to exist in the format, this card needs to GTFO. This one needs to go away forever. It is really not okay. I also wouldn't complain about a Field of the Dead unban. I think Field of the Dead is a fine card to have in this format. Cards like Teferi, Time Raveler, and Narset, in my opinion, remove the most interesting parts of playing control matchups. Alright, I got 3 counter spells in my hand. I've got some real pressure in play. Let's just attack. It's gonna be like a tempo deck, basically, this game. Yeah, I think so, Pino. And, like, the problem is, like, their bad mid-range decks still aren't good. There's always gonna be a bigger fish. So, like, if Field of the Dead's not devouring their bad mid-range decks, Blue-White Control is gonna devour their bad mid-range decks. Field of the Dead does not make playing mid-range impossible. It makes playing decks like what our opponent's currently playing impossible. Mid-range decks that don't end the game aren't mid-range decks. They're bad control decks. The types of decks that are actually rendered unplayable by Field of the Dead are decks like what the opponent's playing, not mid-range decks. Mid-range decks are supposed to be able to take an aggressive role in matchups like that. So if your deck is a bad Field of the Dead matchup, you're probably not actually a mid-range deck. Sorry. Maybe I'm supposed to not play Nick this turn and just hold up Stroke. Maybe that's the line. Just like hit this for 2 and then hold up Stroke this turn. That might be better. Thanks for the 28 months, Mugface. Would you say Blue-White Control is oppressive in Pioneer? I would say decks like Blue-White Control don't have to be oppressive to be rancid. I think a format where this archetype is even tier 1, not even too good, but just tier 1, is gonna be one that generates play patterns that a lot of players have no interest in playing. Hey, thanks for the 23 months, Soldier. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. If they have another Azorius Charm, I get pretty punished for this line. I've seen a number of people experiment with God Pharaoh's Gift, but we've not played any here on stream, so I don't really have an opinion on them. Blue-White Control is obnoxious, not oppressive. I think I agree with that assessment. I do think it's one of the best decks in this format at the moment, but obnoxious, not oppressive feels accurate. All right, so their hand right now is Jace, Architect of Thought, and then one card I don't know. Yeah, Teferi, 3-mana Teferi removes most of the interesting play patterns that exist against blue-white control that give you neat tricks for beating up on them. All right, so their last card, so they're dead. This game's over. So we're going to attack their Narset for 4 here, and then we'll flip Nick and reanimate their 5-mana Teferi that they didn't delve out of their discard pile for some reason. They definitely messed up by not delving away their 5-mana Teferi. That one, please. What do you think would be better, banning something from blue-white or unbanning field? I don't know. Magic's a complicated game, and there's no substitute for hard work. It's hard to just like, it's impossible to act like you can just know. So we get to draw 4 cards next turn, sign me up. It's gonna be a real banger of a turn, chat. They put 2 cards on top. All right, hopefully they don't have a Planner Cleansing in their deck. Sans Planner Cleansing. I don't think this game is losable. And even if they do have Cleansing, we're still ahead, I think. I think Wizards has lost their touch in the last 2 sets of leading players to fun. There have been interesting ideas that I think would be more interesting if it was playable, and they choose to be conservative on that power level. Yeah, I definitely... I feel like I agree with the fact that they've missed a little bit on the focusing on fun a little bit. How much of this set have you missed? This is match 2. This is match 2. Aether Gust, my Nicol Bolas, sure. Did my opponent play their land last turn? Alright, so my opponent's last card in hand is a Glacial Fortress. I get to draw this and play Nicol Bolas, and then do I actually have enough to flip it again right away? Not quite, but close. Alright, so I punted the first game. We're getting a third game here. Do you have a favorite take? A take on your favorite version? And we haven't played enough, Cody. I'm playing a lot, a bit of everything. I will say that we played a Grixis control deck that felt pretty reasonable, that you can go back and look on the YouTubes for, but we've not had a chance to revisit it. Yeah, I think honestly, Duran, that feels like something that's happened. I feel like they've had too much of a focus on just like diversity equals fun as opposed to thinking about specific play patterns. This hand obviously needs to draw some lands, but I think it's keepable. All right, if we find a black source, this hand's actually quite good. This is actually incredibly unfortunate for us because, I've drawn both the basics in my deck this game, and they're probably inclined to just activate this just because they want to get more colored sources out. So, yeah, that's a pretty huge feel bad. There's 2 basics in my deck, explicitly for Field of Ruin and Trophy. Like having that happen, super rancid. Yeah, it's actual factual Stone Rain. Summer Denial this, I think. Just like, get to use the stub while the getting is good. If we see multiple good 5-mana things, we could be in trouble. I gotta take Teferi here. Maybe that's wrong. They get a chance to resolve Dig. I would ask that when you ask me a question that has an easy answer that you can compute mathematically, rather than saying, hey, Jeff, should we do this thing? I would ask that you instead do the math and then tell me what the math says about your answer. Says about your question. If you want to say, hey, Jeff, should we change the mana base? Show me, do your homework. Show me what your homework says with regards to, is that a good decision or a bad decision? Because an appropriate answer is never, hey, Jeff, we were really unlucky in this specific situation. Can we change our deck to make sure we don't get really unlucky in this specific situation again? That's not a good way to approach deck building. We're gonna die to this castle. It's unfortunate. Feels bad, man. They have Dig Through Time and Cast Out in their hand. Not a whole lot we could do this game, really. Shouldn't have punted the first game. Well, you got untimed out, so that probably means someone misclicked on you. Historic Battle Bus links Green-Black Citadel as previous. Okay, I didn't actually realize that there were previous buttons at the bottom of the page, so I'll remove those. Previous / next buttons at bottom of deck pages. Those actually shouldn't be there. It must be some kind of holdover from the WordPress page type that I'm using. Probably has a next button too. There's previous next buttons. Let's get rid of those. Garden Variety Troll. Thank you for the tier 2 resub and for the 12th month at that. Welcome back. This game feels like it's been a pretty good example of just like, you don't beat blue-white control at its own game. I haven't been able to successfully deploy a threat basically this game. And like, they just like happen to draw one of their 1 or 2 castles here. And we're just like, don't have the tools to recover. The fact that we got set back early by the Field of Ruin, we drew both basics, also definitely didn't help, but no, not putting pressure into play definitely makes our opponent a huge favorite on average. They have Dig Through Time and one other card in their hand. Thanks, Troll. Good to have you back. Okay, don't dispute me, bro. Oh, magic. Thanks for the 11 months, Rippers. Welcome back. Thanks for the 5 months, O'Hare. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. Okay. Maybe their last couple cards are bad. You know, they just cast a Dig Through Time. Whoa, I did miss a big donation. Wishing you and your family happy holidays in 2020. Can we see blue-red flash 1 standard starts? We definitely can. Thank you. Sorry, Thump. Yeah, that's way more than enough. Let's do it. Yes, we finally, actually, I tweeted a picture and put it in Discord as well. There's a shelf of board games behind me now. Azorius Charm. I'm just gonna go ahead and concede. We're not 0% to win this game, but we're low enough that it's kind of miserable and I'd rather play more Magic. I don't know. I might just start conceding to blue-white control for our Pioneer Leagues. The matches are always long, and even when we win, they're really not fun. Thanks for the 19 months, Pikes. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Give them the old Nexus treatment from Standard. I think might be the plan. Most leagues where we play against blue-white control, we generally don't have enough time to play all 5 matches anyways, so just like skipping the blue-white control matchups is probably not unreasonable. Ramp. This matchup's probably hard for us. The Brazen Borrower on our opener is actually very good for us here, though. Let's us deploy one of our more aggressive threats on 3 and hopefully erase them. You can always find my current latest list on my website, Sunayami. So Eldrazi is one of the decks that has the deck page up there, so if there's not 4 bangers in it, I wouldn't put 4 in it. Is blue-white control a no-fly list? I'd play blue-white control that has win conditions in it. Like, I think blue-white approach is fine. But yeah, I'm not going to play the no-win condition blue-white control like that's been floating around for a normal donation. If you want me to play that pile of garbage, it's going to cost you extra. Oh, sweet. Not the ramp deck. Probably a... what's the Colossus called? Anybody know its name offhand? Metalwork Colossus. Yeah, that's the one. Probably a Metalwork Colossus deck. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine for playing control decks that have win conditions. And again, I think control is a good archetype to have exist. It's just these control decks whose win conditions are literally, their win conditions are Castle or Teferi tucking himself can bugger off. That is Sanctum of Ugin. Opponent's very likely playing a Metalwork Colossus deck. For Spike you. That's true. Yeah, the draw lock blue-white control deck we played at the start of the format is very similar to what's become a tiered deck in the format. I think I'm bottoming this for now. My only double black card in the deck is Murderous Rider. And I don't think I'm likely to need to Fatal Push and Thoughtseize next turn. So I'm just gonna bottom that and dig for some action. We played some Grixis with Torrential Gearhulk, and it didn't feel like it was very good. It's pretty expensive overall. And like, by the time you're like Torrential Gearhulk hulking back a dig, it's not really something you're super interested in doing. Like, you just have better things to be doing at that point. I think control decks that win the game, I'd rather play, like, Approach in blue-white, or I'd rather play, there's Approach in blue-white, and then there's, like, in Grixis you can play, like, Kalitas and various adventure creatures. Been watching since Legacy-tron. Oh, the formats have changed. Thank you for the 7 months, Brian. I appreciate you keeping me around. Welcome back. Something I feel like I haven't mentioned for a hot second yet today. If you're a subscriber, you should make sure to check your email for the sub survey that went out yesterday. If you checked your spam folder and you didn't get it there, you can pop on into the subscriber Discord server and find a link in the announcements channel there. Thanks for the 3/4 of a year, Kent. Welcome back. If you'd like to provide feedback on the direction of content, I did bottom the last Watery Grave. We just drew another one. Of the direction of content on this channel. It's a great way to do it. So this is definitely the take. Cost X less, where X is the total converted mana cost of non-creature artifacts you control. I guess they can just bring it back to their hand. But if they're bringing it back to their hand, it takes them a little bit, huh? I think this is the line. This is the take still. There is not a generic link to the survey in chat, because if the link gets shared to non-subs, I have to manually filter out the responses of people who are non-subs that respond to it. So it's not a public survey. It is intended to be a survey for people who pay my bills, because the people who pay my bills, I care a lot more about their opinion than random people on Twitch. And random people on Twitch are welcome to their opinions, but their opinions aren't going to be considered with as far as the direction of my content here. That's also why I asked that you put your Twitch name when you fill out the survey, so I can go through and remove responses from people who aren't subs easily. So if you don't put your actual Twitch name, your response does not get recorded. Yeah, I almost put a question about political topics on the sub survey, but then I decided I just didn't care, because like, even if a bunch of people were like, hey Jeff, I am unsubbing because you talk about politics on occasion, I don't need their money. There's infinite channels out there that like have politics banned in their chat topics, and like 2020 election's really important. It's important not only to like my well-being, but my children's well-being. So like, if talking about that on occasion makes people uncomfortable or not want to subscribe, they cannot subscribe. I'm in the enviable position where like, if this stops being my job because people don't like what I do, I have a bunch of life skills and I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna go find an actual job. No problem. So like, I do try and make a point to like keep the volume of political talk that I do so it's not all the time, but I'm also not going to stop altogether. Which, if you want to talk about politics all the time, speaking of the subs Discord that we talked about a little bit ago, there's a channel dedicated to that in there that I partake in. Don't threaten us to... Listen, as long as my concurrent sub count stays above 1,500, that's about the magic number looking at my bills that allows this to be a job. As long as I stay above that threshold, I will be here day in and day out. I hereby request that you remain here to beam our employment. How do I get you talk about more politics? In a world where I have a little bit more time, I would start a podcast. I think that would be fun. Wait, do they have a Deep Fiend? I'm about to get EDF tier, huh? Being in 2020, did you see the post on the web about Barbara Walters to replace Carson Daly as the host of the New Year's drop so she could say this is 2020? That's great. And what's really sweet here is if they play Elder Deep Fiend here, I get to Brazen Borrower this back to their hand and then still take it away, right? So we'll see. We'll see what they do with these sanctums. We'll float mana here from when they're tapping my lands. What are my thoughts on D&D? D&D requires a pretty large time commitment. I played a lot of D&D during undergrad, but I haven't played much since then. And for reference, undergrad was a decade ago for me at this point. So they tap my stuff. We'll see if they go get a metal worker or not here. They are going to go get a friend. What classes did I play the most? Believe it or not, mostly bards. Alright, so now I have to decide if I want to take the Metalworker Colossus away from them or if I want to take the Elder Deep Fiend. So this costs 1 less for every non-creature artifact they control. So they currently have 1, 2, 3, 4. So this costs them 7 at the moment. So I do think that I want to go ahead and bounce this. And then just take it away from them. Yeah, bards and rogues, tricky characters. The feel smart characters, chat. Thanks for the survey. I'm glad that you read through the comments to make decisions how you go forward with the channel. Yep. The big thing I wanted to know from the survey, which has actually gone the way I wanted it to do. I wasn't sure how subs were feeling about the historic content. Because the historic content has had a little bit, has had worse numbers than standard, but I've been enjoying playing historic for the most part. So I'm glad that a number of subs are looking like that. Reduces by CMC, yes, I'm aware. So I said it cost 7 because it cost 11 and it was -4. Yeah, we played 3-5. Actually, I have a bunch of 3-5 books out in my garage still. That at some point, I'm sure I will get to break out and share with my children. The best Iraq. Thank you for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Merry Christmas to you too, Trey. One of the OGs. Thanks for the 51 months. Alright, so K-Command sounds good here too. Dreadbore. I just want all my cards that like kill their really big fatties. I'm not sure which of my cheaper removal I want to cut. Like, is this an Anger of the Gods matchup? Is this a Wild Slash matchup? Whale emotes busted. I feel like this probably isn't an Anger matchup. This is a Brazen Borrower out matchup. The pressure's kind of nice, but They, like, have a bunch of random flying dorks. And I like that Wild Slash can kill Emery, which is nice. Yeah, Slash killing Emery seems appealing. Maybe Fatal Push isn't worth keeping. Maybe I, like, trim these Fatal Pushes and keep 2 Borrowers in as pressure. That's probably fine. They could have Psy post-board. That's true. They could have Psy in their main deck even, which makes Borrower worse. I don't know. Psy could be a reason to keep Fatal Push in. Yeah, for someone that was trying to do the whale emote, Twitch added bit emote, so there are a selection of Hoogle emotes now that are tied behind various bit thresholds. The whale emote being one of them. Yeah, this is a little slow, but if it finds a blue source, it's pretty good. And, like, even if it doesn't find a blue source, like, both of these are castable, which is probably fine. Yeah, hand sucks keep feels like accurate descriptor of what's going on here. Couple other generic Hoaglandia things past the survey. I'm very likely going to be off tomorrow and Christmas. There is a small chance I might sneak on in the evening on one or both of those days, but I'm not making promises. I don't make promises I can't keep, so if you following on Twitch, Twitter, or in Discord, I'll ping if I do go live, but may or may not happen. Depends on what the wife's up to. So my hand is kind of so stacked at the moment. I don't know. It might be right to just, like, play a 2-3 here. I don't know. Hopefully they play something that we can swift end. Chandra's a sweet draw. I'm excited to get Metallic rebuked. Wow, we're actually getting rebuked. What a tilt. Guess I should have. And SEPK commanded. Rebuke here. Counter unless they pay 3, it has Improvise. They can tap artifacts rather than pay parts of its mana cost. They could pay 1 and then tap their eggs. There's the Psy. Okay. Let's see if they have another rebuke here, huh? Could actually play around rebuke by Dreadboring since I drew the land. But I also just want to, like, be able to get a creature into play. I think it's right to just swift end here. Midnight Clock, so they put a thing on it, and they eventually get to draw 7, so probably shatter that. Plus make those cards. Do I have any brew/build-arounds for Pioneer in mind? You know, I don't know that I have any that jump out to me specifically at the moment. I know I wouldn't complain about playing more blue-red Eldrazi. That's definitely my favorite archetype in the format at the moment. That's when I start, if I manage to make it out to any paper Pioneer events, or, like, play any Moto ones coming up, that's the deck I'm going to work on. It's been hard to make time for an entire weekend or day off recently, though. And then I don't think I'm going to hold up Murderous Rider here. I think I'm just going to go ahead and cast this and, like, start beating him down. Hopefully, we can draw another blue source so we can hold the Scorn up. If we get to, like, deploy Banger and hold up Scorn, we're going to end the game pretty quickly here. Which Well's a pretty good pickup for them. Yeah, definitely Mana Symbol. And Pioneer decks are open for $25 submissions again. Grixis fires with God and Bolas. I think fires with 4 mana Bolas could be sweet too. I agree with that. Big agree there. Looking for a blue source. Okay. Disdainful Stroke's not a blue source, but it's a castable counterspell, so that's nice. So if they draw like a Metalwork Colossus, we can stroke them. Hedron Alignment's not a constructed playable card. If you wanna play with alternate win cons in Pioneer, the Demonic Pact decks that I've played and seen so far seem reasonable. Like the Mardu Pact deck that we played to start today. Felt fine. Today, Jund Seasons Pass. You know, it's funny. We, at the end of the Mardu build we played today, we talked about another color like Jund could be good. The fact that you can't trophy your own packs feels a little bit bad, though. Max Hassan, thanks for the 22 months. 4 mana Vraska lets you eat your pact, though, right? I think there. I would not be surprised if there's a competitive Demonic Pact deck in this format. Would not be surprised. Yeah, Vraska's first ability, folks. For people that are like, she's an Abrupt Decay. No, we're talking about her first ability. Maybe I'm supposed to just counterspell this. Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to just Scorn that. Could go either way there. Let's get 7 counters on it. They get to redraw. Ooh, Nikki B. Or do they have, like, Rebuke, and they're thinking about tapping me out here? So they currently have 9 total mana of non-creature artifacts. Yeah, they have Rebuke, and they're thinking about tapping me out there. Even if they put, like, a pair of Metalwork Colossus into play at this point, it's not even that good, right? Because I have double removal spell in my hand that I can cast. We could see them end step, crack the Inventor's Fair, go get a Colossus, and I'll get to stroke the first one and kill the next one. Yeah, Pioneer sweet, Troll. It's got some good ones in it. Clock actually pops off pretty quick, huh? Oh, it's not till 12? Oh, I don't know why I thought it was 7. 12 is much slower than 7. They have, like, a Sigh here. We could be in a little bit of trouble. There's a Herald of Torment. What are we doing? They've got something with Improvise here. They're tapping infinite mana. Oh, is this the one that gives a creature -X and they gain life? Hey, thanks, Dr. Jones. Will do. I'd like to attempt to stroke this. Is your last card another counterspell? They did discard this last turn, so they could realistically have another counterspell here. So, next turn... can we attack for lethal next turn? I think we just try and kill them, right? Like, banger, fire up Mutavault is attack for 12. I caught a little bit of the NRG coverage, but not a ton. My mother-in-law was visiting over the weekend, so we were entertaining. Attempt to kill you. Yeah, Sam Black had a sweet set of decks, like he usually does. Haste is a busted mechanic. Mutavault also pretty good. Big fan of Mutavault in this format. Made our mana a little bit awkward that game. Was missing our second blue for a little bit, but I think Mutavault definitely showed its worth there, allowing us to apply real pressure. Can't reasonably keep this on the play. I might be speculative and keep this if I was on the draw, but our chance of missing our third land drop's just too high. And keep this in bottom Brazen Borrower. We'll lead on Watery Grave here, I think. Doesn't really matter. Both our shocks here cast Fatal Push on 2. So we can go second tap land, Fatal Push something on the second turn. Temple of Triumph could be a variety of things. I don't know if there's really an established... Okay, could be Jeskai control. Could be a brew. Yeah, balance is key right now. Could be Fires, yeah. Yeah, Fires tends to play a lot of temples. It's a good observation. So if they just draw a card with this, my Mutavault gets to kill it. Again, Mutavault is excellent. When they don't draw a card with this, I get to Murderous Rider it. Here ends Shelby Swift Teferi. Ragnaros, thank you for the half a year of support. I appreciate that. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday and start your week wherever you're at in the world. I'm just gonna go ahead and banger Teferi here. Glory, hallelujah. Giant dragons blowing through ya. Do 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 beep 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 do do. Now the scary thing here is, should my opponent have a Supreme Verdict next turn, my Mutavault aren't safe with Teferi's Plus. Hey, Jim P, thank you for the 2 months of support there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. All right, Fires. Yep. Okay, so I can Anger and then Banger to finish the Cavalier. So that's sweet. Do I want to play Murderous Rider? I feel like I do. Yeah, they don't get to shuffle it back in and scry either, which is great. Opponent is still notably at 20. So their board's clean, and we've got some pressure here, but we've got them nowhere near dead is a real concern. If they have a couple more Cavaliers here, we could be in a lot of trouble. Scryed bottom. So how good are their leftovers? Therein lies the question. Yeah, no castle out of them yet is good for us. That's definitely true. They discarded only one card there, so I like their other card. I can chump block here, but I don't really have counterplay, huh? I don't know that I have a comeback mechanic in my deck from this position. Take 5 down to 11. Couple leftovers in my hand are pretty bad here. Hey, get your thoughts on my Legacy collection. I haven't played much Magic since my daughter was born in February, and I have a pretty extensive Legacy collection. I don't really need the money, but I'm not really using the card. Legacy has died off in favor of Pioneer locally. Should I start selling my collection or just sit on it? In general, giving finance stuff is tough just because, like, it's hard to predict. But I would honestly be surprised if, at least in the next decade, if it was possible for Legacy staples to go higher than they are now. I feel like we're probably going to see a small dip if some Legacy stuff is less popular because of Pioneer. But I also think, like, a lot of those cards are never going to be printed again. So, like, even if they dip, they're probably going to get back up to where they were at some point in years future. But I also don't think you probably stand to gain much by sitting on them longer. Like, if you don't think you're ever going to get back to playing with a bunch of them again, I wouldn't be surprised if the current level that they're at is about their price ceiling. Yeah, I'd be very surprised if the team constructed at Grand Prix didn't move to what SCG has moved to, which is Standard, Pioneer, Modern. Now, the NRG series, they're still keeping Legacy going in the Midwest at least. So, NRG team events, they're Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, which is neat. All non-rotating formats. That's what their championship was yesterday as well. The floor already fell out of the Legacy market. If you look at reserve list cards, a lot of them lost 30+% over the last year. It's interesting to know. Yeah, so, like, Wizards of the Coast has a vested interest in keeping Standard alive because Standard makes them the most money. But from a player enjoyment perspective and, like, formats people show up to play, Pioneer, Modern, Legacy makes the most sense. Yeah, I'd also wonder how sellable the cards are at this point even. Like, are there people who aren't just, like, taking buy lists that are, like, willing to pick them up at this point? Yeah, this seems very reasonable. You got a Sphinx A. Show me y'all secrets. Double time Raveler, read. Modern cards even getting difficult to move at this point. Yeah, I definitely think I've heard a number of people, even just in this chat, who have been like, yeah, definitely sold out a bunch of Modern stuff to pick up Pioneer things. I think the feedback on Modern content on my sub-survey for people who had it marked as their favorite format is an all-time low, which really doesn't surprise me just because we've done so little Modern. I'd assume most people who, like, really enjoy Modern probably dropped their sub at this point, if that's their primary format that they enjoy. This Force Spike should be good to counter their Teferi. Oh, you know what? I don't think I put the schedule in Discord. I'll make a note to do that after. I can probably do that now, actually. I just link my tweet. Hey, C-Unit, thanks for the 23 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks, Dan. I had playsets of everything from RTR through OGW and sold it off over the summer before the Pioneer announcement. That's rough. My buddy Brad did the same thing. He had I think my buddy Brad actually had 2 playsets because his wife had been playing too. National Voting in Week. Sounds right. Alright, so definitely just jamming Chandra here. There's Brad. I didn't get to watch a ton of the championship this weekend, Brad, but you guys had excellent numbers. Congrats all around on that. It was really great to see y'all get some of the metrics that you deserve for the hard work that y'all put in. Yeah, Bunch, a number of people on the Modern question for the sub-survey said that they were more likely to continue subbing if I removed with the removal of Modern, so that's a banger I can't cast. It's awkward that Teferi makes Chandra's plus not work. Definitely. I don't have... There's not a dragon in sight for me, so definitely happy to get to Force Spike here. The Hunox, thank you for the 3rd of the year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Play our land out before we plus the Chandra in case we had a 5-drop. Hitting a 4th blue source is nice because it means I can Borrower plus Scorn. I mean, we know our opponent has a basic mountain in their hand. And then if they don't have a Bone Crusher or a Brazen Borrower here, even if they do, I have Scorn, right? So they should just be dead to this Chandra emblem. What if Jeff content... There is actually. There's It's All Great option, which a number of wonderful people click every time. So, in the favorite content question, anything It's All Great, 10.5% of the people who have responded to the survey have clicked that button. Y'all are great. Do we like data? I like data. This is Pioneer standard. I'm glad this makes me feel like my current mix of content is about accurate. 78, 76, 80%. With Pioneer solidly leading in the, hey, what's your favorite of it all? Historic in 2nd, Standard in 3rd. Anything after? Modern and Mythgard neck and neck. The link to the sub-survey, as always, in the Discord server and also went out via email. I don't have a generic link to post in chat because I'd prefer to not have to sort out non-sub responses. Where's the option for more rap videos? Missed on that one. Do we see high participation rates on the sub-survey? I feel like we do have a pretty good rate. The last sub-survey, the emergency one that we sent out in November, had like a 40% response rate. So, as of right now, I have 2,424 concurrent subscribers on this channel. So far about 20% or so have voted. Okay, just go ahead and take their Teferi here. Gosh, maybe it's right to just take Cavalier. If I leave them Teferi, they get to negate these two, though, so that's probably not right. As a small asterisk, Maxwell, we might not make it to Abzan Hero today. I did have a cut the line. There's a non-zero chance that Abzan Hero gets pushed back to Friday. Because daycare closes an hour early today, so I have to be done by like 4:30 at the latest so I can go pick up the kids on time. What if I let this resolve and then counter their spells? Is that right? I guess they don't. Nah. So, like, the problem is they don't have a blue for this, right? So, like, their hand right now is Dispute, Cavalier, Drawn from Dreams. I think that's wrong. I think I just stroke this, stub their Dispute, and then play Banger and try and race them. Just, like, hope they don't draw blue next turn. So I can Murderous Rider the Cavalier. That's really good. Okay, with my 6th land in hand already, I think I just hang out. Because I can start attacking them with this. So, Haven of the Spirit Dragon makes mana of any color for dragon spells. This will be my 2nd red for Banger. Ooh, is that a good one, chat? Is that a good one? Bin that last one for me, will ya? Take that one and throw it in the trash. Thanks. If we hit an untapped land next turn, we can flip Nikki B and reanimate their Cavalier. Yep. Dig through fish resolves. Hashtag sometimes lucky. Sick. So, yeah, it was probably better to activate Mutavault. I don't know, I just assumed I was playing Banger next turn, so it didn't matter. But then we drew a better dragon, so... yeah, you're probably right. Opponent concedes to Nikki B flipping over. Alright, chat. 2 and 2. $7 or approximately 1 burrito's worth of Moto money on the line. I don't want to stress anybody out, but it's a big deal. Yeah, this is fine. Missing a color, but like double Scorn with a dragon for it on the play sounds good. If we hit a black source, we can like hold up Scorn on 3 plus Thoughtseize. Think about all the Chipotle you could buy if you didn't play Moto. So I've actually been very fortunate this year. Actually, someone had asked earlier, and I went back and checked my metrics. I actually haven't put money into Magic Online this year, which is really impressive if you consider the average quality of some of the decks that we play. Think about the things that we play on this stream. Is there a reason to include your Twitch sub on the survey? Yeah, so the name on the survey is required, so that way in case someone shares the survey with non-subs, I need to have a way to cross-reference to remove feedback from people who don't pay me money. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be taking Neoshul brand again, Fox. So I completely understand if you drop back down or remove your sub, but I think I'm probably gonna be done with Modern based on the feedback on the survey. That's true. Playing less Modern has almost certainly saved us money. Enters the battlefield, search your library for a land. It has reach, chat. All right, we're super dead. Go ahead. This matchup's probably unwinnable. And again, just like people, just to articulate my position, the people that wanted Field of the Dead banned, there's always something that's going to beat decks like this that we're playing. If it's not Field of the Dead, it's something else. There's always a bigger fish, chat. I really feel like unless they plan to ban lots of different ramp cards, like I wonder how many ramp payoffs they're gonna ban before they just like take a Boreal Grazer out back. Man, that's basically where I'm at. How many of these types of things are they going to ban before they're just like, oh yeah, a Boreal Grazer is actually the problem? It's not even about a Boogeyman Namachill so much as it's about some type of ramp deck that makes mid-ranger control much worse. That's really what it's more about. Seems reasonable. Needs to draw some pressure, but decent otherwise. Grazer was the problem with Field here. Completely agree. I really would like to know. They must have fired the person who pushed the design philosophy that 1-mana green acceleration was too good, right? I really would love to look back on 2019 Magic and see how different it would be if they would have just stuck to never printing 1-mana acceleration. I feel like it would be just night and day different. Like, ban nothing, just don't print 1-mana green acceleration, and just see how different the format would be. Borrower sounds great. Buy his stuff. I think part of the problem with that type of thing, Reyes, is they don't collect very good data, because unless you put significant prizes behind it, a lot of the people playing aren't min-maxing. So in terms of like the actual information you're collecting is less valuable. In these lower powered formats, Grazer is basically a Mox Diamond that blocks. That's a great assessment of it, Bob. That's actually, I've actually never thought of comparing it to Mox Diamond, but that's a super, super apt comparison, in my opinion. That one's from Trudon. He's real smart. Yeah, sounds like it. There is not a link to the survey in chat, because I would prefer non-subs don't get the link, so I don't have to manually filter out all the results. There's a link to the survey in the subs Discord. It also went out via email. So Silumgar Scorn here at the Mutavault is just cancel. So I'm waiting to Thoughtseize until they're closer to this Ulamog. So I don't want to tap off a Scorn. Yeah, would a mod like to create a survey command explaining what I just said? So their last card currently is Ulamog. It's been okay. We're currently battling for the 3-2. I definitely think I punted one of our 2 losses. So even if they draw the land that makes double mana, if they draw the land that makes double mana, it would make 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So again, just going to continue to hold up this other Scorn here, rather than Thoughtseize the Ulamog that we know is there. Isn't Magic fun? Isn't Magic fun? Are you glad they banned Field of the Dead, chat? I'm glad they banned Field of the Dead. Wow, they sacked Sanctum. That's interesting. Are they gonna go get Walking Ballista? Sure. So we gotta Thoughtseize that, and then we just gotta hope to draw some lands in our 26 land deck. So that way we can make them discard this Ulamog before they get to cast it. Field just had bad lawyers. That's a pretty good one. So they have 6. This is 7, 8 mana. Assuming Castle Garenberg. Okay. This game's been a good example of how good Brazen Borrower is in this archetype. Just being able to deploy it as relevant pressure is very, very good. Let's let them cast Ulamog. I didn't count. I don't really have a play around it though, right? This is Ulamog mana, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I believe this is Ulamog mana if they tap right. Yeah, because this is Ancient Tomb and this is Ancient Tomb. Isn't Ancient Tomb that doesn't cost you life great? I guess we're technically not dead yet. But like, you know, magic. We're dead to the second Ulamog. I guess this has to exile my Brazen Borrower. Okay, so like, if we draw an untapped land here, we kill them in 2. Maybe they have brick, they draw brick, we draw an untapped land, and they die next turn. Yeah, I think Borrower's better than Vendilion Click in most decks and non-rotating formats. I agree with that. So we start playing Damping Sphere in the side. I don't think so, Gold Dead Ringer. I think even if I had Damping Sphere in my side, I wouldn't bring it in a matchup like this. There's just too many of the opponent's deck's draws where Damping Sphere doesn't do anything. And like, spending 2 mana to take them off of only 2 mana isn't super meaningful. Okay, I mean, Ugin technically doesn't save them here if I draw an untapped land. I'm all alone, there's no one here beside me. Alright, if they brick, we get another chance to draw an untapped land. So if their draw step is a miss and we draw an untapped land this turn, they're still dead. And again, like, this is why the specific results of the deck that we're playing are kind of whatever. Like, we went 2-3 in this league, but, like, that game just happened, and one of our matches against Blue-White Control was definitely on me. I definitely messed up the game against Blue-White Control. So, it's just how Magic goes, you know? Lose a lot of games where you don't make any bad decisions. You lose games where you do make bad decisions. So, if you're not playing well, you're going to lose quite frequently. I don't know that I have any changes for this. I feel like I was pretty happy with the list of cards that we have. The mix of utility lands that we had felt good. Both Mutavault and Wandering Fumarole felt good. We didn't get to use Haven of the Spirit Dragon at all, but it also wasn't really awkward for us. So I think I'd keep trying to make sure that that's reasonable. Yeah, I think depending on, like, what you expect to play against, like, if you don't expect Anger to be very good, you can play less than 4 of that, too. And again, like, especially in interactive decks like this one, trying to figure out exactly what you want your sideboard to look like is one that trying to figure out what you want your sideboard to look like in an interactive deck is one that's largely dictated by, like, what you expect to play against. And in a format like this that's still developing, a lot of these what should be in the sideboard of these decks are questions we're going to have much better answers to come the end of January as opposed to right now. So again, January 6th is going to be the last out-of-cycle rapid-fire ban list update for this format. At that point, those are going to go back to ban list updates along with the rest of the format. So once that January 6th update happens, I believe we have a Grand Prix for Pioneer in January. We'll get some big paper events and things will slow down a little bit, and we'll have the format become a little bit more stable. All right, that's going to be it for Pioneer for me for today. We're going to roll on into some Standard here. We're going to kick off some Blue-Red Flash after a very generous donation from one of our wonderful subs from Thomp. I am going to go ahead and hit a quick ad roll while I get Arena set up. We'll be back in a few, folks. Thanks for hanging out today.